I'm tired, but not because it's another CM. I personally really enjoy prepping for CM. I know it's a very unpopular opinion. What I am tired of is that I thought we went from long to medium CM, so this next one should be a mile or maybe even sprint, which by the way, the next one after this is sprint, so that'll be interesting. But instead, we went full circle and back to another long CM. And because we are back to a long CM again, a certain individual will make her swift return. An individual that's always off cam, but just suddenly comes out of nowhere and destroy your hopes and dream. An individual that has traumatized me so much that I will not say her name for the entirety of this video. This will be more of a generalized guide for the Sagittarius Cup. I'm only here to provide you with some ideas and things to consider going into your CM preparation. If I included something that you don't think should be on the sheet, or I didn't include something significant that I missed, please let me and everyone in the community know in the comment section down below, and I'll go ahead and update the sheet accordingly. Please always check the sheet for the most updated information in case I mess up and need to change something. Alright then, let's start by talking about the track. The track this is a long CM 2500 meter Nakayama turf. This will be on Arimakinen if you ever want to do some test run by yourself or with some friends or whoever. It is clockwise, so right-handed, winter, sunny, and firm condition. Alright, let's talk about the stats. Keep in mind that the stats I recommend here are more for the casual that only cares about getting a final and be happy with that. For speed, obviously you want to go for max speed, 1150 to 1200, always speed maxing for DCM. For stamina, 901 to 950 plus will be a safe range to aim for. Stamina and gut is the threshold stats for this CM, which means every 300 increment plus 1 will grant your Uma a bit of hidden speed boost. 1 gold recovery on top of that, and I want to mention that Swing Maestro is a bit sus for this one in my opinion, because there is a corner that starts at the 100 meter mark, and it's not like the skill won't do anything, but if you proc it right there, it might not get the best values. So that's just something to note. If you wish to min-max your stamina, you do you. The theory crafters can have fun with that. I've seen 820 stamina with 600 over 601 gut. I've seen 750 with 450 gut with a bunch of wit, and some other one that is Uma specific. Would not recommend doing these unless you really know the game and limit, but I am going to recommend the safe option over these in general for most people. Front and Pace Chaser, you can go more towards 950-ish if you want to be safe, because they do burn a little bit more stamina compared to your backliner. For power, 700 to 1000 plus, or just high as possible after you get your other requirement. Your speed, stamina, and gut requirement, it should go first priority, and then you should go power and wit. But you should aim for something around this range, and then aim for more depending after you completed the other requirement over here. For gut, you're gonna go 400 to 601 plus gut for the extra hidden speed boost. Do keep in mind I would not tunnel into the 601 plus gut just for that little bit of hidden speed boost. If it means screwing over your other stats, it's not worth it. I would not really focus too much on that. Just aim for 400 to 500-ish. That's generally what most people is gonna go for, and you should be good to go. And you will hit the 400-ish gut just from stamina training, because it does give gut as a secondary stat. But if you just only inherit stamina and not really do much stamina training, then you might not hit this. You will most likely hit it if you do have Rico, so that will all definitely help. But if you don't have Rico, you might have to click some gut here and there, or choose some gut event from your career. For wit, 400 to 600 plus, obviously higher the better, but generally you have 400 to 600, it's generally good enough to get a final, I would think. If you want to be really try hard, really min-maxy, you can go like 800 to 1000. Most people probably not going to be able to achieve that depending on which Uma they're using and what cards they have. So yeah, there's that. Downhill around the middle of the race, I think there's a downhill around the 1200 meter mark, somewhere around there. I could be a bit off on that, but there's a downhill around that mark. The extra width there will also help with your stamina during that downhill, which is nice. And if this is a lot overwhelming to you, do you think these stats are like really crazy? You can't hit these stats, you can't hit everything. Just focus on your speed and stamina, as I mentioned earlier, and then your gut requirement as well. And then your power and wit should come as a afterward. Try your best to get as high as these two after you completed these 3 requirements over here. Front runners, this is not an exhaustive list. There's probably a couple other ones that I could have listed that I didn't, but I only included these because these are the one that I saw first, and I thought they would be okay, or good, or okay at the very least for this CM. You see all these names a lot of time already, so I'm not gonna mention them repeatedly. Suzuka, she can run front, run away, or as a sacrifice piece for your other front runner. I don't know which one's better. I don't run Suzuka. I don't own Suzuka, so I can't even test it myself. So if you are a Suzuka expert, then you can leave a comment down below which one is better for your other peers to know about it. Now let's talk about the front runner skill. I've labeled them in terms of what I would consider necessary to good or recommended, and then situational or decent skills for you to grab for depending on the situation. So for the necessary skill for front runner, obviously the angling and skeeving, groundwork, your greens for your groundwork, and then also early lead and taking the lead, which also counts as a proc for your groundwork. So you only need 2 greens after that. Or if you want to only have 1 green, you can try to gamble with focus. It's not 100% like a green skill, but if you have a lot of width, then this could be okay-ish. And also focus just makes you have less of a chance of getting late start, which if you prefer consistency, that also helps with that as well. 1 gold recovery, as I mentioned earlier, for every single position. So these are what I consider the necessary skill there. These are some other unique skills that you can go for other than angling and scheming. They're not like so crazy that I would recommend you always go for them, but depending on situation and what you're running, it can be good for the specific strategy. Green skills specific for this track that I think will be good for your front runner. You just need 2 of them with your taking the lead, as I mentioned earlier, or if you only can hit 1 in your run but you have focus, you can also go for that route. Less consistent to proc it. If you can't proc all 3, then GG, go next one, but this is an option if you do hit like a really good run, but you only have 1 green but you have focus. It might be an option for you to go for that route. For other green skills, fast pace is okay depending on the situation. Leader's pride is going to be a really good one. All your corner skills as per usual, and then dodging danger plus prudent positioning or ignited spirit wit. You only do this if you have both of these combination. If you only have dodging danger but you don't have any of these 2, then don't go for this. This low-key might make it worse for you. And then these are some other skills down here. I will link the sheet in the description down below. I'm not going to talk about every single one of these skills, or this video will be an hour long and we probably don't want that. For cards, I'm also not going to go over every single one of these cards, but I will note some very noticeable one. Silent Shizuka speed card, very good speed card overall. It can grant you a lot of front runner skill, which is really nice. And then stamina card, Super Creek, really strong stamina card as per usual with Swinging Maestro with a gold recovery skill on top of that. Saiyans guys, stamina card can grant you Escape Artist if you want to go that route, but probably not. I think you have better skills to go for than Escape Artist nowadays for front runner. Satono Diamond, also a very strong stamina card, can grant you Firm Condition and Sunny Day for 2 green skills for your front runner. Silent Suzuka Anniversary stamina card, you can also go for this. Same thing as the Speed Suzuka, had a lot of front runner skill, and also grant you focus and concentration as the 3rd chain event. So if you want to go have a guaranteed way of getting that, that's also an option there. McQueen can grant you cooldown if you need a gold recovery there, and then Manhattan Cafe has long straightaway and also non-standard distance, I believe. So that's 2 decent skill, and that's really decent SR stamina card there. Smart Vulcan Power can guarantee you groundwork and also prudent positioning. If you don't want to RNG groundwork through inheritance, I know it's a pain, I've been there. So if you don't want to deal with that, then you can do Small Falcon. It's a pretty decent card. It might sack your stats a little bit because I think you can use better cards, but it's better than RNG groundwork and your long S, which is really pain in the butt for a lot of people and for me as well. Helios, this card is a luxury card. I wouldn't recommend many people will have this, but this card can grant you early lead hint, fast pace, and escape artist. Mihono Bourbon Power grants you early lead, front runner corner, and front runner straightaway, I believe. And then also Mihono Bourbon Wit card. This one is the most important card. If you have this card and you've done the event, you were there, please use this card for your front runner. It's like so good. It can guarantee you taking the lead, which is a necessary skill for your front runner, and it's just a decent wood card overall. And also has the same hint as the Mihono Bourbon over here, which is like front runner corner, early lead, and also front runner straight away. So it's a really good card there. And then also Machikane, also a very solid card, can guarantee you right-handed for your front runner, and also just a very strong SR wit card in general. And then obviously your friendship card with Rico for this League Cup scenario as well. Now let's go through an example of how I would prep for a run for a front runner based on my account. Your account will be different. If you don't have certain UMA, you don't have certain cards, just use what you have available to you and the strength of your cards. I'm just trying to explain how I would go about prepping for a front runner based on my account. So let's say I'm using Summer Marzensky for my example, and I know some people are saying like, dude, stop using Summer Marzensky, use it like 15 times. Like, bro, she's so hot. Like, what do you want me to do? Let's say I'm gonna borrow a Seiyu Sky from someone and use some other random parents on my end. She has 15% speed bonus and 15% wit bonus. So knowing that, based on my trials of playing Summer Marzensky, I know if I use my 3 LB Kitasan Black and then borrow a Silent Shizuka MLB from someone, I can get 1200 speed with just these two speed cards, as long as I go with two wood card in pairing up with it as well. So I can use my Mihono Bourbon wood card and then also my Machikane wood card as well. This will guarantee me handed, and then this will also guarantee me taking the lead, and two wood card there with two speed card will grant me 1200 speed and pretty high wit based on the many runs I've done with my Summer Marzensky. I know I can achieve this relatively easily. And then Smart Falcon to guarantee groundwork and also prudent positioning as well. And then if I can get lucky with my bubbles or my Kita-san Black, I can get dodging danger, I can get those combination as well. And then use my Rico as well, because Rico is just OP with the Unity Cup. So with this build, for me, I know I can hit a lot of things already. The only thing that I'm really lacking of is stamina. So I'm going to be fully inheriting full stamina spark on Summer Marzensky. Even then, it might still not be enough. It definitely won't be enough. So I will have to put more emphasis on hopefully getting the blue bubble on stamina training, and then pop those on stamina a few times, and then that should give me hopefully give me enough stamina spark to give me the stamina requirement I need for this CM. No, this is just the initial deck building phase. If after a run or two something is lacking or is overcapped, then we can adjust our cards or spark or even career event choices priority to better achieve the stats that we want here. Like for this example, I can totally see stamina being a consistent issue here, which in that case we can probably move some cards here and there, or maybe find some better parents to better fit our stamina requirement while sacking something a little bit. Maybe like getting a Machikane for a stamina card, something like that. To fit our stat line that we want after a few test runs. Now let's go ahead and talk about Page Chaser. This is not an exhaustive list. Again, there's certainly some that I missed, but I've included a lot of them already because, you know, I'm a Page Chaser fan, so I'm definitely not biased in that regard. Princess Ogre is definitely going to be the biggest talking point for this CM. She's a bit weird because you need to activate 3 recovery skills to activate her unique. So in that case, you will not go the 1 gold recovery skill. I would say you would want to run 3 to 4 white recovery skill instead. If you want to min max, you want to go 3. If you want to be safe, you want to go 4. Just note that for Princess Ogre herself, the 1 gold recovery skill doesn't really apply to her since she needs multiple. So in that case, you want to run 3 to 5, in my opinion, for her to be consistently be able to proc her unique and do well in the CM. Super Creek, I also want to mention her unique is 0.75 recovery, while a normal gold recovery is 0.55. So if you use her, then you don't need to buy the gold recovery skill, and you can probably have a bit less stamina requirement as well. If you run some other Uma that has a gold recovery skill as their unique, such as Agnes Takian, you also don't need to buy the 1 gold recovery skill. These are exceptions because their unique skills are recovery skills. For unique, the one that I would really recommend is Shadow Break for your Page Chaser from Naruto Brian. And then some of these other ones that you can go, they're not the craziest, but they can help you win if you have them already on your Uma. 1 gold recovery for your Uma, just like I mentioned earlier, unless you're the specific Uma that I talked about a little bit ago. Nimble Navigator and No Stopping Me. This skill, you must get this skill. This is just like CM6 is a No Stopping Me zone. You must get the skill. If you hit it in the right timing, you'll go off and you'll probably just win the race, unless someone else also hit it at the right timing and then their stats is better and then all that good stuff. But the skill, you must get it for your Page Chaser, for your Laser and your End Closer. Head on can be good, but it's pretty hard to get. You can only get it from specific Uma secret event, or you can get it from RNG Bubble, you can get it from Inheritant. There's also a Mayano Top Gun card that will come out that has a 50-50 shot of giving you head on as well. Uma stands always going to be decently good. And then I got your general good corner skills here, and then some other skills that you can go for, and then the green skills over here. I'm not going to mention all of them. You can look at the sheet that I'll link in the description as I mentioned earlier. For cards, I want to mention event special week card. You can have a decent chance of getting Gorman if your Page Chaser does not have a gold recovery skill. It is not guaranteed though, so that's something to look out for. My Top Gun speed card, this card can give you a head on the first chain event, I believe. It's not guaranteed. I don't know if it's 50-50 or just based on your speed stats, but it's not guaranteed, and I would not use this card unless it's a 3LB or MLB, so you'll most likely borrow this card if you do plan on using this card. Stamina card, I already talked about all of these, not going to talk about it again. Power card, we got the Helios card, as I mentioned again, luxury card, but this card does guarantee you Patience in corner on the first chain event if you wish to do that. King Halo power card can guarantee you Uma Stan. I know most people use this card mostly for parent farming, but from my experience, this card actually is not even that bad in terms of stats. It's not the best card for stats, but it's not that bad, and if you want to guarantee Uma Stamp because you think it's that important. And then you got your usual Wit card and then your usual friendship card with Rico as per usual. Now let's go through an example setup with Ogre Cap. Let's say I borrow a Naruto Brian from someone and they use someone else from my end. Ogre Cap has a 20% speed bonus and 10% power bonus, so knowing that, and I know from my many games of Ogre Cap, that if I run my 3 LB Kitasan flag and borrow a Bigo Pegasus, and I use 2 Wit card, then I can pretty easily get 1200 speed pretty much every single run. And because she has a 10% power bonus, just by hitting speed, I'll get a decent amount of power, and also there's a lot of power option in her career event choices as well. So I know for my last 2 slot, I can just grab a Rico, and then I can grab a stamina card to end up grab a bunch of stamina spark to hit the stamina requirement, and this should be, from my mind, work out pretty well to hit a lot of the stats needed for this CM. I'm gonna try to use Mayano instead of Bigo Pegasus to see if I can still consistently hit 1200 speed while also having a chance to get head on. And also, if I want to use McQueen card instead of Manhattan Cafe, I can also do that. Can grant you a potential chance of getting cooldown, which might be cheaper than Gourmand initially for Ogre Cap, so I might buy that instead because it's cheaper. But then it's another SSR card for my deck, so that means that some of my other SSR card might not hit the 3rd chain event because I have more SSR now in my deck, so that's something to consider. Again, this is just the initial deck building phase. If something goes wrong in the run, then we can adjust our card sparks, event choices, like all that good stuff to get the stats that we want after a test run or 2. Now let's talk about Laserger. Laserger, we got a decent amount of options here. Again, there's not an exhaustive list, so I probably missed some of them. But Majiro Ryan and Majiro Dober will probably be 2 of the best one in the CM in my eyes. Majiro Dober will be released tonight actually, so she will be a good candidate for Laserger for the CM, but also a good candidate for Laserger parent moving on in the future as well. I would not recommend building a Laserger early. I will wait until people their Majiro Dober and then get some good parent runs going, and then they get a good parent that you can borrow from, and then make your Laserger then. That's my personal recommendation. For skills of Laserger, the unique skills, Let's Pump Some Iron from Majiro Ryan and Moving Past and Beyond from Majiro Dober will be your 2 best one for Laserger. These will give you some really nice acceleration for your Laserger. Then these are some other unique skills from other inheritance if you wish to go for these, or you don't have one of these and you can only borrow one of them, then you can go for some of these if you wish. Other skills, obviously the 1 gold recovery as per every single position, Slick Surge and on your left for your Laserger, and then once again, no stopping me. Please get no stopping me if you want to win, or unless you plan on throwing the match, then don't go no stopping me. But no stopping me should be a priority for every single position that's not front runner for this CM. Your usual corner skill, Uma Stand, and then some of these other skills here, depending on the situation, and then green skill, that's per usual. Cards for Laserger, Senno Rob Roy speed card can grant you a gold recovery skill specifically for Laserger, and also right-handed as well. Aishin Flash always give you really nice Laserger hints as well, which is nice. Stamina card, already talked about it, not gonna talk about it again. Power card, nothing too fancy. Wood card, nice nature for on your left. Everything else pretty much the same, and then your Rico as per usual. And let's say we're prepping for a Majiro Ryan. We'll go ahead and borrow a Majiro Dober parent and then use something else on our end. Majiro Ryan has 20% power and 10% wit. So first off, immediately we know that this will have no speed bonuses, so it's going to be really hard to hit the 1200 speed or close to it. So we will probably need 3 speed card, 2 of them being Kitasan Black, and then 1 of them being an MLB speed cards preferably. You can use Zeno Rob Roy or Bigo Pegasus. I don't have much experience with Zeno Rob Roy, so I might have to test that, but with Bigo Pegasus, with my 3 LV Kitasan, and then with the MLB Aishin Flash, I should be able to hit 1200 speed most of the time. Sometimes I might not hit because of, run RNG, but most of the time with these 3 speed cards, should hit 1200 speed with 0% speed bonuses. And then we can also run a nice nature wit card for on your left for our Majiro Ryan, and then also a stamina card like McQueen to grab us the stamina that we need, along with the gold recovery skills that we need for the CM, and then inherit stamina spark to fulfill the rest of the stamina requirement. If you don't have a nice nature wit card, you can borrow a nice nature wit card and then just grab another speed card on your end, maybe like a MLB Tsuitosho for example. If you do this though, I think the chance of you getting 1200 speed with this setup might be a bit harder. Definitely be less consistent to hit 1200 speed because you don't have the MLB SSR speed card that you originally have from borrowing, but it is possible. This is just the initial deck building phase. This one I can definitely see didn't go crash and burn, so definitely a few test run needed to test it out, and then something lacking, then we can adjust some parents, some sparks, some cards, all that good stuff. Alright, finally we are at the end closer section. End closer will most likely be the strongest position, just like CM6, and then I think it will be Laserger next from what I see so far. But because it's gonna be an end closer CM, that means this Uma over here is gonna be really popular and also going to be one of the stronger options. You can also use Christmas Ogre as an end closer as well. She'll also do really well there. And then also Tamamo Cross will also come out, and she'll be a very strong candidate for this CM as well. I don't usually do this, but please vote for Christmas Ogre and Tamamo Cross and run them so I can see less of this horse over here to support my rehabilitation effort. Please and thank you. There's also some other end closer here. Mina Takan obviously going to be a very friendly one for most people. Her secret event is very easy to do and also guarantee you straight away spurs. So then all you need is to RNG Uma stand on inheritance, or if you don't care about Uma stand, then you can just fully max out on your stats for your inheritance as well, whichever way you want to go for. Let's talk about the unique skills. Unique skills, you can go for Majiro Ron and Majiro Dober just like your Lace Surger for your end closer. I don't consider these as necessary because end closer have better ways of winning with no stopping me and straight away spurs. So these one, I've seen people just ignore the unique skills and just buy more mid game skills to get into good position for them to proc these skills and then win from that. But certainly you can definitely buy these. If you think they should be necessary, then let me know and I'll try to think about it, but I don't think they are. I think these two skills alone probably be able to carry end closer enough to win the races. A very good skill, obviously, you're on your 1 gold recovery skill, you're no stopping me, and then straight away spur. Honestly, at this point, seeing straight away spur as a skill name just triggers me at this point. Your corner skills obviously gonna be very good. Your Uma stand as well, unless your name is this horse over here, and then your other skills over here and your green skills over here. I'll link the sheets in the description down below as I mentioned earlier. For cards, Sweet Social Speed card, this one can get you straight away spur, or it can't. It's not 100%, so I wouldn't really bank on it. Narita Taishin Speed card can grant you some nice skills. Stamina card, I already talked about it, not gonna talk about it again. Amazon, a very strong power SR card, can grant you and closer straight away and also straight away spur as a hit as well if you can hit it. So that's pretty nice. With cards, same old. Friendship cards, same old as well. Now let's go through an example. Let's say we are training a imaginary horse that just so happened to have 20% stamina and 10% power. We're gonna borrow a Majiro Dover, and then let's say we use something else on our ends. I don't know what that's gonna be. And then because this imaginary horse also have no speed bonus, just like Majiro Ryan, for my account, I would use my 3LB because I'm black, and then you borrow a max Beagle Pegasus with a MLB SR speed card. But these 3 speed cards should be able to decently consistently get 1200 speed. Some runs might not be able to hit it, but most runs I should be able to hit it if I play the career well enough. And we can run a Hishi Amazon power card because this imaginary Uma happen to have 20% stamina bonus. By clicking power, we get a decent bit of stamina as a secondary stats. And then let's say this imaginary Uma just so happen to have a lot of career choice option that grants you stamina, then we will also press stamina there. And then we can also max inherit stamina, or if it's a little bit too much after some testing, we can also do some power and speed spark depending on what we are lacking. We can run a Swit card with like Machikane since it's a very good card, and then also our Rico as well. And with this deck, we should be able to hit the stat requirement for this imaginary horse that still happen to have 20% stamina and 10% power for the stats that we need for this CM. Again, this is just initial deck building. If something crash and burn, then we can do some adjustment here and there. Maybe get rid of this Wit card and then grab another power card, or substitute this power card for a stamina card to hit the stamina requirement. We can do some adjustment like that after a few test run and then go from there to hit the stats that we need for the CM. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If there are any comments, questions, thoughts, please drop a comment down below. I would greatly appreciate it. If you think I was wrong on something, please correct me with reasoning and I'll update the sheet accordingly as well. I wish you the best of luck with your CM prep. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Take care.